How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a wonderful, what is it, Saturday night tonight? I hope everything is going great. It is time to do some animation, to talk about animation, talk about the creative process, all those wonderful imaginative worlds that you can create. And we talk about the process and thinking and get into a little bit of how-to and all of that stuff. So without further ado, let's look at today's inspiration. It comes from one of my top 12 favorite artists in the entire world of animation and concept art and illustration and comic book art and everything. And it is Giraud, Moebius. I love his stuff. So great. So anyways, here's a little quote from Moebius. This is actually from an LA Times article, which I will link in the information below if you want to read it all. It's really interesting. The man they call Moebius trailed a finger along the brow of his healthier eye. I have no explanation, but I am interested in being alive. No, seriously, staying alive for an artist means to always be in an unknown part of himself. To be out of himself. The exhibition in Paris, the theme was transformation. Art is the big door, but real life is a lot of small doors that you must pass through to create something new. You don't always need to go too far. If you're in the space station Mir and you need to fix something, you go outside, but not too far. If you travel too far, you'll die. Outer space is not human, but you can visit. You need to be a little bit out there, but you need to be... let me try that again. You need to be a... You know what? Maybe I'll just restart recording this. No, stick with it. We can do this. We can make it through this sentence. Way to go, you. You need to be a little bit out there, but you need to stay close to human. So anyways, once I could actually read that, the point of that is to just get a little bit crazy with your stuff, get a little bit more imaginative, try to think outside the box, but try to have everything that you do be relatable, be understandable, be something that can challenge the viewer or the reader or whoever it is to think a little bit more, or to ponder things, or just to create that creative spark in someone else by the content that you are making, whatever field it is that you're doing. So anyway, sorry about taking 15 tries to read that sentence, but I think it's an important one, and I think sometimes the important things are a little more challenging than all the rest. So let's take a couple glances, just since we're talking about Moebius already, just at some of his work. This is from Moebius Volume 3. You can see he's just got such great skill and such an imagination. I really like his layout, his use of coloring. He has a really intricate way of giving really good body mechanics and structure to things that don't really exist. And I think that's fascinating. I really enjoy that aspect of his work, is that he can take something which isn't real in the world that we live in, but he can make it through anatomy and posing and layout and design and color choices and all those things, and bring it and make it feel like it's a real, like this could exist somewhere, where, you know, there's no plants that really look exactly like that. There's no bird that looks exactly like that. I mean, just take a look at this image alone, just this bottom one. The layout here, it really draws your eye in. There's kind of a line of action to it. It's all supporting that you're kind of focused on the stuff right here. The rest is left pretty blank. You know, this guides your eye up to the top here. Both of those wings kind of guide your eye up to the player or the character here. It's just really well laid out. The colors are really complementary. He's just an amazing artist. If you get a chance to one thing, not all of his art is super PG, so just let that be a side note to you as well. I mean, but just check that out. The structure in this, like, it's like a monkey god, giant monkey god attacking this flying chicken pterodactyl thing. It's just really cool, and the way that he chooses his layouts, it's great, and the structure and the believability of his characters and the world that he creates are just fascinating. I really enjoy. I can talk about him forever, but anyways, if you get a chance, definitely check out some of his work. He's got tons of books. There was exhibit that I wish I could have gone to a couple years ago, but unfortunately I missed it. That was Miyazaki and Moebius, and if I remember, I'll put a link down below. If not, Google it for yourself, because that was really cool. Many people are familiar with Miyazaki. He runs Studio Ghibli, but the way that both of those artists work, I think, is very, very different, but has a lot of similarities and a lot of. I got the book from that exhibit, and the way that they talk about each other is very complimentary and that they almost influence each other and everything too. So if you're a fan of Miyazaki, definitely check out Moebius as well, because his work is awesome. But anyways, let's get into doing some animation today. I figured since we were kind of going with a bizarre, okay, not bizarre, but a creative inspiration for today, and thinking outside of the box and everything. This is an inanimate object, basically a toothpaste tube, so let's see if we can make it come alive, if we can bring some life to it and everything. And I thought it would be a good day to try that as well. So with this series, this is Maya 2014, and this is a toothpaste rig, which you can get off of Creative Crash. I will throw it in the links below if you want to try this rig. Absolutely free. I've never used this rig before, kind of with the series that we're doing right now. I really want to talk, and what I enjoy doing is, and hopefully you do too, is talking about the process and the thinking behind different choices, and really almost like an over-the-shoulder kind of video of animating. Sometimes we focus a little more on how-to, other days it's a little bit more on just different concepts. As a content creator and someone who's a creative person, I try to make it so that it's not only so people who are animators can get something out of it, but I try to definitely talk about larger subjects and everything. But anyways, sorry about that, the phone was ringing. Without further ado, let's get into animating for today. So first thing we want to do is we're going to just turn off our textures here, just so that it'll be a little bit lighter. And let's go ahead and set up this first pose that we're going to do here. And I thought it would be good to squash it up there. And let's see. I think we'll just use these two. And rotate them in X. Let's squash that forward a little bit more. Let's see if we can do this guy as well. Nah, let's keep it. But I think we will do a little bit on the tail and even have our roots up a little bit. And maybe we'll do a little bit more. Rotate X here. And let's pull it back a little bit more just so we can get a better silhouette there. And maybe let's rotate the head forward a little bit. I kind of was thinking we can animate this toothpaste tube kind of like an inchworm, so we can do something kind of like that. So let's grab everything we got here. And we'll go ahead and we'll save our file here real quick. And since we're using 2014, it does take a little bit longer to save, so apologies about that. Remember, if you are liking the series, definitely throw me some thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We'll do new videos as much as I can control it every day, at least about an hour. Sometimes they go a little bit longer. I had one a couple days ago that went over the 2-hour mark, which was the longest one that sorry about that. Hopefully that noise wasn't too loud on here. And let's go ahead and grab everything and go to frame 1, and let's go ahead and set a key. And now let's take this guy and go to 6, and we'll stretch him out. And let's go to 12. So I'll keep it where it is at 6, and then go to 12. And we'll push it in. And set that at 12, and go to 18, and we'll stretch it out again. And go to 24 on here. Make sure we're grabbing the right thing. Let's go ahead and turn off that grid, since this is a little bit of a smaller rig, that grid is really large, so we'll go ahead and turn that off for right now. And if you didn't see that, that was just this little button right here. Turns off that grid. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, the default layout usually has a little grid based here. So, and again, I'm sure all of you wonderful, studious, amazing content creators already know all this information, but if there's someone who's watching this who's never seen or messed around too much with Maya, I like to try and do slow it down every once in a while, so I'll make sure that I'm not saying things that wouldn't be understood by almost anyone. Granted, I think a cursory knowledge of Maya. Maybe I'll do a real intro to Maya video and just talk about all the different aspects of the program. That would be something to do. We'll see. If you think that's a good idea, throw me a note in the comments below, and someday when I have 1 million hours, I will definitely do that. So I think we got the basic movement we want here. Might be a little fast though. So I think we might go in and just buffer everything with 1 extra frame in between each move. So let's go to Window, Animation Editors, Graph Editor, and let's just grab everything here and we'll scoot it down 1 frame. Just hold down Shift and middle mouse button, and that'll slip in. We'll just drag it. So we might need to do 1 more frame. I just don't want it to be too fast. I like kind of more of a slower move on this. So. Let's go ahead and do so that it's actually on 8s then instead of 6s. Is what we really had it on first. And timing's definitely something that I try to really get a good grasp on towards the beginning of a shot, so that you don't have to tweak too much with timing, at least with the base movement. That feels a little better. Just so there's a little bit there. Let's zero that out again. And here. Let's right click and do key selected, and we'll bring that down again. Got 40. Pop it down to 0 one more time. And then let's go 48. There we go. Instead of having it completely lock off for all those frames where it's just solid, I want to add a little bit of movement still in there. So I'm just, and again, from like 7 to 16, there's really not tons of movement, but at least it isn't completely solid. I like having a little bit of give there, so a little bit of lead still. So we're just setting a key 1 frame before we had our previous key, and then deleting that, so we just get a little gradual bit of movement in there. Let's go ahead and do the same thing here. So we'll take what we have at 9 and make that our new 8. So there's a little bit of, and we'll take 25 and make that our new 24. this a little bit. There we go. That's a little bit better. And so what that would look like more in the graph editor, instead of having this movement right here be completely flat, there's just a little bit of give there, and then we'll keep it from looking too locked on that, because that's not what we want. I was hoping that we could do some translation with the head here, but it doesn't look like we can, so that kind of stinks. That's okay. Just do a little bit of bounce on that thing. Let's see. I think we'll have it go the opposite direction here. So let's grab our rotate X's here. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Let's try that. You know what we might do instead is put it on 4s instead. Okay, let's watch that now. Just deleting some erroneous keys that were from our first timing pass on that. I'm not going to get too much into the head. I think that idea will work. I'm just saving again. Just Control S. And let's go ahead and this. Straighten out there. Doing a little bit of. Let's go ahead and delay that frame. Kind of even out that movement a little bit more. And let's take those two and we'll delay those a frame. And this guy, we'll delay him a frame as well. Let's grab both of these two. Just do a little bit of, oops, make sure we're doing that on the right frame there. Used to kind of a base 6 to start off with my movement. Other thing is we're not getting as straight. First off, we need to move that back one more frame. Since it's not fully straightening out, we need to adjust that a little bit more. So let's go into the translate Z here. We're going to just lift that up a little bit more. So we want to get a real stretch in there. Let's see. Let's take everything we have here. Let's delay it one more frame. Let's see. And one thing I did kind of want to try out would be goes there. And then let's pull it back a little bit. So we'll kind of recoil. Let's pull it back a little bit. And then go forward. Let's pull it back just so there's a little bit of give there. So maybe a little bit more. Let's grab all of those values and just bring them down a little bit more. Okay, that maybe is a little too much. Let's see. And let's do these ones as well. Let's go ahead and pull them back a little bit more. Let's see. Okay. Now let's go ahead and do a little bit less give on those front movements. Let's see. And let's go ahead and have this one delete a frame. Let's see. And let's do one more. And I feel like this top is still not doing exactly what I wanted to do. So let's try flipping it around and doing the movements the other way. Let's see. Let's move it back 2 more frames. Let's see.
And then she just goes, Jill, Dad died 6 months ago. I was so wasted, you know, and I guess I forgot.
Raise it up. Drop it down.
What about you?
I don't think we'll do double time on the head. Let's see.
Don't you ever sleep? I have work. You're the one who live there. There are extra pillows. It's not the pillows. Your story isn't dying down, so what? You saved my life, I know that, but I still don't know how or why. And until you tell me, I might as well still be wearing that freaking orange jumpsuit. Do you want answers from go get them? What happened? I need to know this because then you don't have every piece of the puzzle right now. You change your mind about sleep. Pillows are in the closet. Right, Reverend Margaret Drake, 68-year-old Himalayan cleaner of in our nation's past.
So I want this movement to be big and that movement to be kind of small. so we have like a big move, little move kind of feel to it. So let's see if that's right. Okay, that's better. So that way we have like a big move and then it just drags up lightly. Big move and then it drags up lightly. And we could probably even play up that a little bit more. Let's see. And I think we want to delay it a frame there too, maybe 2 frames. Yeah, let's do 2.
Oh God, okay, we really should. This is so late. Nothing.
Oh, no, Paul's probably been a couple of hours.
Well, we found him.
Maybe we'll redo this stuff too. And have it kind of complement the head moves. So we'll do a big move and down, and then a little move, and then a big move, and down, and then oh, that move, big move, and down, and a little move. Let's watch that out.
And Middlebury's just as good as the Ivy League, you elitist, highbrow, conservative snob. I cannot believe I fell in love with a Republican. Being on the short list is not like
All right. I think that's a lot better than what we had. That idea. I think it's a stronger idea of it. Let's go ahead and squash that down a little bit. Now it feels like there's a little too much movement in the head, and let's delay 1 more frame. And let's delay that 1 a frame. And let's go and watch that. And let's go ahead and squash that down a little bit more. Let's go ahead and squash that down a little bit more. Let's, let's go ahead and redo the tail again too with that big move, little move idea. I feel like that's a stronger idea. So we'd have down, up, and then down, up, and down, up, a little more. Okay, let's see how it goes. It's good, but it's the wrong way. So we want this to be where it's like the flattest. Let's see. Feels like it's too much movement too quick there, so let's give us maybe 2 more frames to do that.
You're on cleanup. Everyone in the city who knows about the affair, make sure they don't breathe a word about it. You check on Moebius, see if she's okay, see if she needs anything. She's going on a split visit.
Let's go ahead and grab both of these. Let's delay on the frame. And then let's go ahead and grab this guy and have him. Let's do 4. It'll be up here. 12, it'll be down there. 20, it'll be up here. Okay, let's just delete what we have on this tip here. And 1 second here. Okay, sorry about that. Let's get back into this tail. What were we doing here? Let's have the tip hold up there. Drag back there. Hold up here. I think one thing we might do is do a little less squash. So we're going to pull that back a little bit more. Pull that a little back more. So we can still get those nice straights, but we just don't have it as tight of a squash. And that's okay. Just felt like it was moving a little too much there. And then do we have a... Nope, that's not going to work. Maybe we can skip of squash and stretch in that as well. We gotta do what we can. There's not a ton of controllers on this thing, and we're going with that idea here that's a little out there, so we gotta be careful, but that's okay. So we just figure out what can give this little toothpaste character some realistic movement, or something that might make it feel like it has life and character. Okay, I think that works, but I think we could even squish it a little bit more. Let's see. So it feels like that top is flipping a little bit more. And then let's delay that by 2 frames. So that way it like feeds into.
Can I help you?
Maybe let's do this one a little bit too. Just keep it. Nah, because that shouldn't change.
Can I help you, or did you just have to watch? Savvy mailer person, right? We're with the Duke Health and Associates. Kind of like past the greatest experience. No more backlog, but you come to the number, and I'm like, yes, so the thing is, the backlog's no task, and let's.
Maybe we could do a little bit of scale on here too.
Meet this guy in a dark alley, you're done.
I'm moving on these stairs. What's the delay? This is only with the treatment. What you need is Giraud pen. Or if you want to go to war.
Let's even those out a little bit more too. Let's see. I think we could do a little bit more. Let's see. And let's take the scale on those two, and we'll delay them 1 frame, and we'll delay that on 1 frame as well, just so it kind of goes from there to and then out.
Stop calling, I don't want to hear from you. And then she just goes, so Dad died 6 months ago. I was so wasted, you know, I guess I forgot.
And we just gotta zero out the rotate on certain parts here.
What about you? No thanks.
I'll never sleep. I've worked your voice up there. Your actual knows the sun knows. Your story isn't dying down, so what? You saved my life, I know that, but I still don't know how or why, and until you
texture back on. Let's go ahead and watch this guy. I think we could play up the scale on these though. 'Cause I'm not really feeling it as much as I feel like I should. Alright, I think he turned out pretty good. There's lots of life in him. We got lots of squash and stretch. Got some scoot there. I feel like we might have a little too much scoot back on here. Let's go into the translate Z again. And we'll just minimize that just a little bit more. Let's see. And I feel like we could crunch it in a little bit more too. So that would mean we'd have to move that up just a teeny bit more. Move that up just a teeny bit more. Let's compare that to that. Okay, let's go. What was that? Alright, I think he's pretty fun. Yeah, definitely. Definitely a fun one. A little bit out of the ordinary for what we've been doing with this series, but it's still pretty... I think it was a fun exercise to take almost like an inanimate object and try and give it some life. Something that wouldn't be normally what you would think of as a moving or a character rig or something, but you could definitely give some life to this guy. I could see him going around and, climbing up and down the faucet head, or he could go over and, I don't know, flirt with the toothbrush, or, I don't know, you could squeeze him out and then he'd get shocked and then have to try and squeeze all the toothpaste back into his tube. There'd be a lot of fun little stories that you could tell with something like this. So I think that's kind of one of the fun things to do as a creative person or a content creator, any of that kind of stuff, is not always follow the same pattern and try and think differently than either you normally would or than everyone else around you. But like we were talking about in the beginning with Moebius, if you're out in outer space already, you don't have to try and open the hatch and swim your way to Mars. You can just go outside and fix a little thing on your spaceship and get back in, and you already went a lot further than everyone else. So if you cultivate a personality that's a field that you work in, that's a creative field already, sometimes you don't have to push yourself super far to get to that next level or to capture a creative idea or something, but just a little bit further. So I hope that as you go through your day today, as you're creating whatever it is, that you try to push yourself a little bit more, or try and think out of the box, or step back from it and think of something in a different way than you had before. Remember, if you do like these videos, throw me some thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and that being said, I think we will see you and all of you tomorrow to talk about some creative stuff, to get behind the scenes, and try and get into the inner workings of how people think and how creatives work, and do a little animation as well along the way. So that being said, thanks again for watching. You're awesome. You really are. You're great. You're amazing. Subscribe to the channel if you want. Send me links to your stuff, and we can cross-promote each other, and I can look at your work. If you got work that you want an extra set of eyes on, don't hesitate. Send it over. You're awesome. And take care. We'll see you for some more animation tomorrow.